All right, so I'm going to be reviewing the Nike Vomero 17, and I'll start with the upper. The upper is a engineered mesh material. That's all kind of just one big sock. There's no seams going through it, and it's really comfortable, and it breathes well. I have no issues with the upper on this guy. Okay, so the midsole is pretty interesting. In the Vomero 16, there was a layer of their standard foam on the outside, but running through the middle of the shoe was their Zoom X foam. And the 16 also had a Zoom unit in the forefoot that was really comfortable. I have another video on that one you can check out if you're curious. This one is different. It's quite a bit different. The whole shoe is actually very, very different. So you can see the two different types of foams. Up top is the Zoom X foam, which is what most people are going to be interested in. And then below that is their Cushlon 3.0 foam, the non-super foam. So it's interesting because the Zoom X foam, it looks like it comes up really high, but really your foot doesn't really sit until right about where this crease is. So I feel like, there's not as much of the Zoom X foam as there would appear to be. But anyway, the ride and the cushioning, it is good. It is different than the 16, like I said. What I like about it is I just feel like this is a faster shoe than the 16. And I think that is maybe because an implementation of the Zoom X here. But this shoe feels like it has better energy return than the 16, which is great. It feels really good when you pick it up in this shoe. On the downside, I would say is I really care more about the forefoot cushioning, and that Zoom unit in the 16, for me at least, felt great to run on. This shoe, I don't know why they got rid of it. The Zoom Air unit. I feel like they'll probably reintroduce it in future models and act like it's going to be a big advancement for future models. So they just give it and take it away and just go back and forth like that. But I would say that in the forefoot, I preferred the feel of the 16 just because of that Zoom unit made it feel more plush, I think. But overall, it's a bouncier experience. And it does feel good. I think it's a bit quicker than the 16. One thing I will say is I have about 320 miles on these guys. And one thing I've noticed is there could be potential for the foams to separate. You can kind of see, something must have sliced between the foam there, but there is some separation happening, which is not great. I don't think that's going to cause long-term problems. I'll probably wear these until, 500-600 miles, but, it's something I'll have to monitor, and I could see other people having maybe a larger issue than me. I'm not a huge guy, and maybe someone who puts more of an impact on it, maybe you would get the foam separating. So, but yeah, the outsole on the shoe is actually great. I was pretty skeptical because the nubs are pretty small here. And I just feel like these things tend to wear down pretty quickly when they're smaller. But this rubber has been really tough. I mean, I think feels like it's a bit stronger of a rubber compound than on the 16. Maybe a little bit more firm rubber, I guess. But yeah, this is in great shape. The traction is in really good shape for 320 miles. So I'm not concerned about that at all. The other thing I like about the shoe more than the 16 is, I'm not sure why it is, but it just feels kind of less slappy than the 16. That's one thing I learned about the 16 was that it's a little bit kind of slappy for whatever reason. And I'm not sure really why this is less slappy, but I feel like it may have to do with just maybe the overall profile of this shoe, but it just feels like the shoe is good flexibility and you're able to roll through your stride very well in this shoe. So yeah, I like that a lot about this shoe. The other thing is this shoe is a good weight. I believe it's 10.5 ounces in a size 10. But yeah, for me, it feels, I like neutral cushion trainers. And so this feels like it's not at all too heavy. So you could do tempos in this. You could do whatever you wanted in this, really. Track 400s and 200s, you might not knock it out of the park, but definitely doable in these things. I mean, they feel, like I said, they're responsive. If they feel really good throughout your stride, and if you want to pick it up, they may weigh a bit more than the Pegasus, but this shoe, you could definitely run more quickly in this shoe. So yeah, I think, the other things, the heel works, it's really simple. The heel is very simple. It feels good. The tongue is gusseted and, pretty thin, feels good. Everything about the shoe feels pretty good. The other thing to note is the stack height. I forgot to mention this earlier. 10 millimeter drop, 39 on the heel, 29 on the forefoot. That feels great. I think on the whole, this shoe's got to be, between a 9 and a 10. I really enjoyed this shoe. A lot of cool colorways out there. Retails for $160. You can probably find a colorway for cheaper than that. But at $160, given the durability, I think it might be worth it. But just keep an eye out for a sale, and you could probably snag one of these on sale. As far as the comparison to the 16, I might give this a slight edge. I do miss that zoom unit a lot. But I do feel like this shoe, you do get better energy return, and it may just be even more versatile than the 16. It just feels bouncier, better to go faster in. So yeah, I might have to give this shoe the slight edge over the 16. All in all, a great shoe. I don't think I have any complaints, really. I'm curious where they go from here with this Zoom X kind of implementation. I don't know. For the 16, they had the Zoom X down, the middle of the foam. You couldn't see it. Here they have it exposed on the outside. I kind of wonder what's next. It seems like they're kind of locked into, using the Zoom X foam on the Vomero, which is great. But yeah, on the whole, great shoe, and I would certainly recommend.